Guys, I can't believe it, and you won't believe it either unless you already know. But Meghan has been relatively quiet lately. It's not what we would call quiet, but considering her constant need for attention, all's been fairly quiet on the home front. I really expected her to try to upstage Harry's trip to the UK when he visited with his father. Well, she did get that one dig in when she posted the picture on her Instagram on Harry's birthday. It was a really unflattering picture. And she didn't even say happy birthday. So I figured maybe she's upset about something. And it's not the kind of post that someone would put up for the world to see when they're really missing their husband and they love him so much. And they really hope that he does have a happy birthday. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, there really wasn't much else to speak of. There have been Instagram posts on the As Ever official page, but they don't have anything to say. Actually, they're really comedic in a way. I might do another video just about those because when you really look at them and look at what they're saying, they're hilarious. They are hilarious. They were to me. In fact, I am going to do a post about that. But there haven't been any of Meghan's usual shenanigans. There hasn't been the usual chicanery that we are used to seeing from her. She hasn't crashed any red carpets. No mics have been grabbed out of anyone's hands. No real word from her since Harry's trip. And I'm thinking that her silence is speaking volumes because Harry had time alone in the UK, and it really does feel like something's different, even if just a little bit. There was one exception to this when he and Meghan showed up to the 805 Live fundraiser. We saw something that we're not used to seeing. Harry was on stage and he was speaking. He was so relaxed. He was comfortable in his own skin, and Meghan was where she didn't want to be. And you can tell by the look on her face. She was not happy back there. She was on the sidelines. And of course she didn't like it because there's no spotlight and there's no mic and there's no huge crowd in front of her. That's why they call it the sidelines. She's practically backstage. And you can tell Meghan finally just could not help herself. She walked up behind Harry while he was speaking, and he looked shocked. He was shocked, but he was dismissive. And I'm just wondering, given her audacity in coming out there and his reaction, I'm wondering if he finally had the foresight for once in his life to say to himself, not only is she on a stage that she was not invited to step onto, I never have any idea what's going to come out of this woman's mouth. I don't have a clue what she's going to say. I don't know how long she's going to take to say it. Whatever he was thinking in that split second before he had to make that decision, he made it. He turned, he looked at her, and he said, hey, hey, hey. And then he carried on. I can't find a clip of that, but I saw it. I can't find the clip now, but that's what happened. And finally, maybe for the first time in his life, Harry told Meghan no. He denied her the chance to grab yet another mic out of some unsuspecting person's hands. He denied her the chance to grab the spotlight. And he was so relaxed. He was confident. He was Harry without the claw wrapped around his arm or dug into his back, dragging him around. And I was actually really proud of him for how he handled it. Meghan turned and walked back to the sidelines. And there were two staffers there. And well, I don't know if you would call them staffers. It's a fundraiser, so they might have been volunteering, but they were there on the sidelines and they were just relaxed. They were chatting, they were laughing, not at Meghan. They were just chatting. And it was as if Meghan wasn't there. Now, remember, this is Meghan Sussex, the Duchess of Sussex. Okay. And they just carried on. It wasn't just awkward. It was brutal. I can't even imagine the rage Meghan was feeling because not only were they not acknowledging her presence like she probably felt they should have, given her status, but when narcissists are told no, when they're embarrassed like that, or when they perceive a personal slight, they become enraged. And in fact, in another video, I'll talk about how narcissists feel exactly like toddlers feel when they don't get their way. They have the same feelings, the same hurt and anger because they feel entitled. And it's frustrating being a toddler. They're not called the terrible twos for nothing. And any parent can tell you, if you're a parent, you know, raising children, raising toddlers, it can be so frustrating. But what people often don't recognize, especially in those moments when it really is so frustrating, is that as frustrating as it is for us as parents, it's even more frustrating to be a toddler when you think about it, because they don't have the words they need to convey what they want, what they need, how they feel. But what they can do is walk, and they can run, and they can climb. And that is an amazing sense of independence for a toddler. So they feel like, hey, I did it. I got up on my feet. I can walk around. I'm just like you. I can walk around. I can do anything. But toddlers grow out of that feeling. I should be able to do anything I want to do if they have the normal trajectory of psychological and emotional development. But when someone doesn't have that natural arc of emotional maturity, they'll eventually learn not to throw tantrums. They'll learn that crying, screaming in front of a crowd won't get them what they want, and that it will actually work against them. But the feeling is the same. They don't settle down. They don't get over it. I can't prove this, but I'm convinced that Meghan is still just as angry that she wasn't allowed to wear the Greville Emerald Kokoshnik tiara that she wanted to wear for her wedding. I'm convinced she's just as angry about it right now as she was the minute she was told no. So narcissists, they don't get over it. They don't move on with their life. They calculate. What am I going to do about this? How am I going to rectify the fact that my husband just told me no? That's not okay. He knows not to do that. He owes me. Somebody owes me because I didn't get the attention I wanted. That's how a narcissist thinks. They're going to push the boundaries to get their way. And that's what Meghan did when she walked onto that stage. She was crossing a boundary. She was told, just as you would tell a toddler, hey, don't go outside. It's not safe. There's no one out there to watch you. You're not allowed to do it. And the toddler, what does the toddler say? I know how to walk. Why can't I? Why can't I go outside? I should be able to go outside. You know what? I'm going to go outside. That's what was happening with Meghan. Meghan was told to stand back in the sidelines, and Harry was going to come on stage and speak. And Meghan was standing back there, and then she just couldn't take it. She just had to go outside. She wanted to go outside and play. So here she comes. She walks right on stage in the middle of Harry speaking. A toddler throws a tantrum, and their parents put them in timeout. They let them calm down. And then the next time the toddler listens when he's told no, and they make sure to praise him. It's about positive reinforcement. And eventually the toddler learns about boundaries. They learn to listen. But when a narcissist is trying to get what they want, there's no reasoning with them. There's no learning from those mistakes. They just calculate. They have the ability to plan. They have more resources than just the ability to walk. So that's why I'm wondering why the relative silence. It's almost an uncomfortable silence. And this isn't just her stepping back from her work, because remember, she works so hard. She works so hard. This isn't her just saying, you know what? I need some balance in my life. I need to spend some more time with my kids. I need some time with my family. That's not what this is. That's not what I think this is. Meghan has never listened to her PR team. She's never listened to Netflix. Not that any of us can tell. And I'm just wondering, has Harry put his foot down? Did Harry finally say, you know what? Sit down. Sit down, Meghan. Sit down and be quiet. Because the Meghan we've seen for years is not built for the sidelines. She's not built for silence. Whatever the reason, she's planning her next move. And my question is, what is it going to be? I don't know. I don't even know if Meghan knows what it will be yet. I do know that Meghan believes in the power of yet. I know that if Meghan doesn't know what her next move will be, she'll just remind herself, I don't know what my next move will be yet. Did Harry have just enough time away from Meghan to realize, hey, you know what? This is pretty nice. This is pretty good. I'm not being interrupted mid-conversation. I'm not being embarrassed in front of people that I know, people that are friends of mine. I'm not being told who I can speak with and for how long. Has he changed since he came back from the UK? And does she sense that? Does she sense that she needs to sit down and be quiet? I don't know. But what I feel sure of is that this is just the calm before Meghan's next storm. But I really would love to hear what you think about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please feel free to drop a comment. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for sharing a little of your time with me today. It means so much to me. I do appreciate it. Until next time, take care.